I'm giving a particularly loud bang of the gong today since we have a very full room. Welcome to today's City Club Forum. My name is Ralph Delarada. I have the great privilege of being the president of the City Club of Cleveland this year. And let me first of all wish many of you, all of you, a Happy New Year. It's the first time I've had a chance to see our membership and our friends since the new year, and I hope that 2009 is a prosperous and most importantly healthy year for you and your loved ones. I'd like to give you some backdrop on today's forum. The Ohio Office of Budget and Management has stated that national and state economies have continued to weaken, resulting in mounting job losses, fewer available hours to work, and even lower wages for individuals. Excuse me. These developments are seriously impacting state tax revenue, which will no doubt deepen Ohio's already severe budget crisis. The Associated Press has reported that roughly half of a $1.6 billion stimulus package aimed at creating jobs in Ohio faces potential obstacles as the state deals with one of the most difficult economic environments in its history. Funding an economic stimulus will be especially difficult considering Ohio's upcoming two-year budget is projected to have a $7.3 billion deficit. In light of the impending deficit, Ohio Governor Ted Strickland recently ordered an additional $640 million in budget cuts, augmenting the $1.27 billion in cuts he previously announced in 2008. These additional cuts will be especially felt by the Ohio Department of Education and the Ohio Department of Mental Health, which are each under orders to cut $30 million. Today, we have two state representatives who will offer their unique perspectives on Ohio's financial and economic crisis. I know both of these gentlemen. They're great public servants, and we're just proud and privileged to have them representing us in Ohio. Our first speaker is State Representative and Speaker of the House, Armond Budish, who is currently serving his second term in the 8th House District in eastern Cuyahoga County, which includes the 3rd and 4th wards of Cleveland. He is also a partner at the firm of Budish, Solomon, Steiner, and Peck Limited, where he has crafted a nationally recognized practice in the areas of consumer law, estate planning, and elder law. Additionally, Representative Budish hosts Golden Opportunities, a consumer-oriented television show that airs Sunday mornings on Cleveland's local NBC station. He has written a syndicated column named You and the Law, which appeared in the Cleveland Plain Dealer and the Columbus Dispatch. He also recently authored his third book entitled Why Wills Won't Work, in parentheses, if you want to protect your assets. Safeguard your assets for the one you really love. Representative Budish earned his bachelor's degree from Swarthmore College and his law degree from New York University. He lives in Beechwood with his wife, Amy, and together they have 2 sons. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Armond Budish to the City Club.
Thank you. It's quite an honor for me to be invited to speak here at the City Club. I've had the pleasure of listening to many great people at this famous forum, including Mayor Frank Jackson. And I'd also like to take a moment to acknowledge a few people in the audience. I certainly want to acknowledge my wife, Amy, who always tells me without her I'm nothing. And she's true, she's right. And I'd like to acknowledge my colleague, Barbara Boyd, State Representative Barbara Boyd. And Mayor Bruce Akers. And I see former State Senator Sinagra, and I've spoken briefly with former Congressman Dennis Eckert. So thank you all for coming. Hope I haven't missed anybody. Any elected officials, if I did, I apologize. And it's always an honor for me to appear on the same program with my friend Bill Batchelder. Bill and I are together so much these days that my wife is getting a little jealous, Bill. We've been asked to address in 12 minutes or less the Ohio budget. which is no problem. $7.3 billion deficit. That says all you need to know. Now, we're not unique here in Ohio. The economies of states across the nation are hemorrhaging jobs. A federal report just out this morning said that the U.S. lost 524,000 jobs in December, bringing 2008's total job loss to about 2.6 million. Unemployment rose from 6.7% in November to 7.2% in December. More than 40 states, not just us, more than 40 states are facing major budget shortfalls, totaling somewhere around $145 billion for fiscal year 2010 alone. The consequences in all of these states will be severe. Let me give you an idea of what a $7 billion deficit means here in Ohio. 2 years ago, the Ohio legislature passed the lowest growth budget in decades. Now, if we cut 10% off every line of the budget that we legally can cut, and just imagine 10% cuts if we have to do this in education, or 10% cuts in social service programs that are already strained to the limits, that would still leave a $4 billion deficit approximately. Now, I've been thinking a lot about our financial problems. The economy here is the toughest it's been in decades, maybe longer. A $7 billion budget hole is almost unthinkable. But we must, and we will, figure it out. All of us together, and we'll have to be creative. Bill's heard me say this before. I do some of my best thinking at night. Earlier this week, I woke up in the middle of the night worrying about our state budget. I flipped on the television, and there appeared the answer to our budget woes. The gentleman on TV said he would pray to solve my problems for just $100. So I sent him $100 and asked him to get Ohio out of our fiscal problems. And then I figured, what the heck? And I sent him a second $100 and asked him to turn Bill Batchelder into a Democrat. Well, yesterday I opened my mail, and the gentleman from the television had returned one of the $100 checks. The note said he might be able to get Ohio out of our fiscal problems. Changing Bill Batchelder would be, he said he couldn't take my money in good faith. To solve our budget problems and move Ohio forward, all of us, Democrats and Republicans, will have to work together. On this, Bill Batchelder and I agree. The two of us have already begun taking steps to set a new tone in Columbus for the Ohio House. For example, with Bill's support, I've taken steps to reduce partisan politics in our House Clerk's office by appointing a clerk from the majority party and a deputy clerk from the minority party. This approach has been adopted and worked in other states, and we're committed to making it work here in Ohio. Bill Batchelder and I, I'm proud to say, are friends, and I believe that friendship will help us through these tough times. Bipartisan cooperation must also extend from the House to the Senate and the governor. Senate President Harris, Governor Strickland, and Lieutenant Governor Lee Fisher, over the last 2 years, have worked cooperatively with the House to enact major initiatives, including a budget, an energy bill, and an economic stimulus package. We in the House are committed to a bipartisan partnership with the Senate, the governor, and the lieutenant governor. We must balance our budget. That's the law. But that's not enough. We must also create a vision for the state, and we must invest in that vision, even given the serious fiscal restraints now upon us.